Hello, Rinkrats. We're back with some more Colorado Avalanche franchise mode in FHM 12. And in this one, we're starting out the Year 3 playoffs, starting out against the 46-34-4 Winnipeg Jets. So let's get right into it. Game number 1 against Winnipeg will be a 7-0 win. Nice win. Shots are 29-25 in favor of Colorado. 3 stars of the game are McKinnon, Lehkonen, and Natchez. First period, Samuel Poulin gets the scoring started from Brindley and Girard. Then you have Natchez from Barré-Brûlé and Middleton to make it 2-0 heading in the second period. Where it is Natchez 34 seconds in from McKinnon to make it 3-0. Then you have McKinnon on the power play with his first of the playoffs from Malinsky and Landeskog. And then it's Landeskog from Brindley and Akan to make it 5-0 heading in the third, where it's Prishkapov from Lehkonen and Malinsky. And then Nathan McKinnon with his second of the game from Lehkonen and Middleton to make it a 7-0 victory. Here we go. Game number 2 will be a 5-0 Winnipeg victory this time. So we get the shutout, then they get the shutouts. Shots are 33-25 in favor of Winnipeg. 3 stars of the game are Connor, Scheifele, and Barlow. First period, Connor gets the goal to make it 1-0. Second period, it's Fantilli and Barlow with the goals to make it 3-0. Heading in the third, where it's Scheifele and Drysdale to make it a 5-0 Winnipeg victory. Here we go. Game number 3. We're tied at 1 in the series. Who's going to make it 2-1? It'll be a 9-6 Colorado victory. My goodness. Shots are 37-23 in favor of Colorado Avalanche. 3 stars of the game are Brodin, Bardakov, and Middleton. First period, Nathan McKinnon with the goal gets us started, makes it 1-0 from Natchez and Middleton. Then it's Zach Naring with the goal to make it 1-1. Then Bardakov from Brodin and Barré-Brûlé makes it 2-1. But then it's Gritsuk and Geeky to make it 3-2 in favor of Winnipeg heading into the second period, where it is Zach Naring with the goal to make it 4-2. And then Gavin Brindley from Akan and Poulin makes it 4-3. Landeskog from Jury and Girard makes it 4-4. Natchez with the goal from McKinnon and Girard makes it 5-4 in favor of your Colorado Avalanche. And it's Mark Stone to make it 5-5. And then it's Zakhar Bardakov from Prishkapov and Colton to make it 6-5. And then it's Jack Drury from Landeskog and Brodin to make it 7-5, heading into the third, where it's Poulin with the goal from Barré-Brûlé and Brindley to make it 8-5. Kyle Connor makes it 8-6, but then it's Gabriel Landeskog with the final goal of the game from Bardakov and Makar to make it a 9-6 Colorado victory. My goodness. So depth scoring during the regular season was, for the most part, an issue, but it came through in the clutch there. So here we go. Game number 4 against Winnipeg. Can we take a 3-1 series lead? No, we cannot. Winnipeg ties it up at 2. It's a 4-3 win for them. Shots are 38-36 in favor of Colorado. 3 stars of the game are Stone, Poulin, and Connor. First period, we take the 2-0 lead. First goal by Jack Drury from Poulin and Brindley to make it 1-0. And then it's Brindley on the power play from Lehkonen and Makar to make it 2-0 heading into the second period, where it's Poulin. So we take a 3-0 lead unassisted. And then it's back-to-back-to-back Winnipeg goals from Stone, Naring, and Scheifele to make it 3-3 heading into the third, where there's no scoring. And we head to overtime, where Isaac Rosane gets the game-winning goal to tie up the series at 2. Here we go. Pivotal game number 5 will be a 5-4 Winnipeg victory. We need to win 2 in a row here. Shots are 56-31. You don't like to see it in favor of Winnipeg. 3 stars game are Lambert, McKinnon, and Barlow. First period, Winnipeg takes an immediate 3-0 lead as Brad Lambert with the early goal makes it 1-0, and then Lambert with another makes it 2-0, and then Scheifele makes it 3-0 heading into the second, where it's Lehkonen from Natchez and McKinnon to make it 3-1, but then it's Stone late in the period unassisted to make it 4-1. Heading into the third, where it's Rodrigo Abols with the goal from Gushin and Malinsky, make it 4-2. Then it's Nathan McKinnon from Natchez and Lehkonen to make it 4-3. And then Alex Barré-Brûlé from Middleton and Colton to make it 4-4. And we head into overtime where there's no scoring. So we need a second overtime where Anton Lundell gets the goal and we are down 3-2 in the series. Here we go. Elimination game 6. Come on, Colorado. Let's get an early goal. It seems like this is going to be an early goal, but not for the good guys, as Winnipeg will get that in the back of the net, and it's 1-0 off the first shot of the game from Winnipeg. Arseny Gritsuk with a goal. And we have another goal. Looks like it's going to be for Winnipeg once again. Yep. Man, that's going to be a 2-0 lead for Winnipeg late in the first period. You do not like to see it. Zach Naring with the goal makes it 2-0. And that is the end of 1. Right into the second period, down by 2. We need a quick goal here. Come on, Colorado. Come on, Colorado. Oh, no, that's a bad turnover. That's a bad turnover. Oh, boy. 3-0. Not looking good. Not looking good so far. Etienne Morin with the goal for Winnipeg. And we have another goal. Looks like it's going to be Winnipeg once again. And yes, indeed. And that's shorthanded as well. Yep. Not looking good. Kevin He with the goal. Makes it 4-0 Winnipeg on 13 shots. Come on, guys. Oh boy. All right. Is this going to be our first goal? Is this going to be our first goal? Yes, indeed. All right. So we don't get shut out. We get the first goal towards the end of the second period. Arturi Lehkonen with a goal from Akan and Brindley. But we got a large mountain to climb here in the third. Come on, Colorado. Get me one here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, okay. We have it. We have it. Oh, no. They take it back. They take it back. They're in the offensive zone and they score. Morgan Geekie with a goal makes it 5-1 in favor of Winnipeg. And this is not looking good as time is winding down and we are down by 4. It's just not going to happen. We're probably going to get a goal here from McKinnon. Yep. So we get a 5-2 goal, but is way too little too late. McKinnon with a goal from Akan and Makar. And that is it. We are out in the first round. You do not like to see it. Shots are 36-21 in favor of Winnipeg. They dominated the last 2 games in particular. 3 stars a game of Moran, Lundell, and Reinbacher. Oh boy, this offseason is going to be interesting, I have a feeling. Between the lack of depth scoring during the majority of the regular season and then the playoff performance we just had, there's probably gonna be some changes and likely significant ones at that. But before that, let's see the playoff stats. You have McKinnon with 8 points in 6 games played, Brindley with 7, so he had a big series there. Natchez and Lehkonen with 6, 5 for Landeskog in 3 games played, 5 for Poulin, 4 for Bar Brule, Middleton, and Akan, 3 for Bardakov, Drury, Gerard, Malinsky, and Makar. You'd like to see a little bit more of Makar, I think. Prishkapov, Brodin, and Colton with 2, and Abols and Gushin with 1. So depth scoring helped us there. It did help us in this series, but unfortunately, it was not enough as in goal. Mackenzie Blackwood with the 888 save percentage. He did have 1 shutout, but for the most part, not a good performance for him in these playoffs. 861 save percentage in the last game. He had a 911 save percentage in game number 5, I believe it was. 889, 838, 848, and that 1 shutout in game number 1. Yeah, just overall, not a great performance for Mackenzie Blackwood. You need more out of your main goaltender, especially if he's making that much money. Obviously, it's not too much. Like 5.25 is not that bad for a starting goaltender, right? But it's, that is not reflect his numbers. These playoffs were not reflective of his contract. So I guess with that, we could just advance. This was a very, very disappointing playoffs for your Colorado Avalanche out in the first round. We didn't even make it past the first round this year. Very disappointing. That does not bode well for this offseason or for this roster in general, honestly, given our past performance. We also, now that I think about it, we also may want to consider a coaching change because I think Jared Bednar's contract is coming up this offseason. Maybe it's just a roster construction issue. I mean, obviously we saw how bad the depth scoring was most of the regular season, but it's also possible a coaching change is in order because over the past 3 years, it's been first round exit, second round exit, first round exit. Granted, the first 2 exits were to the Dallas Stars, who, as we all know, for those first 2 years were a very good team, and they may still be. In fact, actually, no, they were kicked out by Utah in the first round this year. They were only 45, 34, and 5 on the regular season, but still, the point is very disappointing. Very disappointing for this team. And just considering that half our roster is 30 or over, with another, majority of the players being 29, 28, 27, I think this may be the offseason where we head into a little bit of a retool. Not necessarily a rebuild, but a retooling, I think, may be in order. And your 2027-28 Stanley Cup champions are the Detroit Red Wings. They last won in 2008. They went through Washington, Florida, Columbus, and Edmonton. All right, so I guess now is as good a time as any to go through players we have to re-sign. So we have Bardakov, Akan, Poulin, Bar Brule, Tarasenko, Brindley, Shea, Brodin, Gushin, and Abols. I can't say I'm too enthusiastic about re-signing too many of these guys. Besides, I would say Brindley, Poulin, maybe Akan, and then Bardakov. Those 4, I would say I would probably keep, but the rest of them, I can't imagine. It's there needs to be some change. There needs to be some form of change to the depth this offseason because the majority of the regular season was not great for depth scoring, as we know. So Bardakov, he had 36 points last season in 84 games played. He only wants 1.5 for 2 years, so I am absolutely doing that for what he brings. Akan, 31 years of age. He had 29 points last year in 77 games played, 71 defensive grade. He wants $4 million for 2 years. That's not bad for what he brings. That said, he only has an 11 rushing defenseman rating. That's his best rating. So we may want to consider moving on from him. Only has 11 strength. Defensive ratings aren't great besides positioning at 15, which is, just average. I mean, I will re-sign him to fill out the defensive core if I have to, but, he's not, I wouldn't say he's a priority. Tarasenko can get released. He was not great this past season, only 10 points. Barry Brûlé, 18 points. He has 61 defensive grade. Wants $3 million for 2 years. I don't know if that's worth it. He's not even that good at faceoffs, only a 13 faceoff rating. Yeah, I think we'd afford to release him. Poulin, he had 32 points this past season, 64 defensive grade. What does he want? He wants 1.1. I will absolutely do that for him. Brindley, 23 years of age, 30 points this past season. He had a 66 overall grade. What's he wanting? 2.6 for 3 years. That's a good deal for him. Brady Shea, 34 years of age. He had the 67 defensive grade last year, 14 points in 46 games played. Can't imagine I'm going to renew him. $7 million for 1 year. No, thank you. Gushin with 25 points in 65 games played, 26 years of age, 61 defensive grade, 63 overall. He wants 1.4 for 2 years. I mean, for what he brings, that's a pretty good deal, so we'll give him that. Jonas Brodin, 34 years of age, 28 points in 59 games played last season, 69 defensive grade. He wants 5.4 for 1 year and a no movement clause. It's only 1 year, but I guess he wouldn't be too bad to bring back. At the same time, I could see Brodin dropping down to like a 1.5 star. I mean, you know what? He has a 16 speed, 17 agility. I think he'll still be serviceable defensively. I don't think he's going to drop off that hard. Yeah, he's still good. He's still a decent depth defenseman. So I wouldn't mind re-signing him as long as we have the cap space to do so, which I think we will, because we're not re-signing Tarasenko. We're not re-signing Barry Brûlé. We're not re-signing Shea. So I think we should be able to afford Brodin, but he's not going to be in the first round of re-signings. I just want to make sure that we have enough. Rodrigo Abols, 32 years of age, 21 points in 67 games played, 63 defensive grade. He wants 1.5 for 2 years. I mean, he's okay depth, I guess, but he's only a 10 roll rating for screener. That's his highest rating, and a lot of his defensive ratings are not great. Physical ratings not great either. Speed's at 11, so I think I'll release him. Here's just some temporary depth. The rest of them can just get released. Yeah, I mean, we'll have the cap space, I suppose, for Brodin and for Akan, because it's currently got us at $34 million for cap space. And then heading into next season, you have 47.4, so we'll have more than enough. Yeah, I guess I'll re-sign Brodin. As long as it's just for 1 year, that should be fine. If I could get Akan down to 1 year as well, that'd be good. Okay, I got him down to 1 year for 4.5. I think that'll be a good offer just to see if he can get back to the point total that he had 2 seasons ago, right? Because he had 2 seasons in a row of 40 plus points, right? 43 points in year number 1 and then 49 points in year number 2. So if he can get back to that this season, then it'll be worth it. But if not, then, we could just release him next offseason. And like I said, I think we're going to have the cap space for it. So then again, we're going to need to sign quite a bit of depth because we're releasing Shea, Abols, Barry Brûlé, Tarasenko. But even still, it's not going to hurt us long term. So I suppose we can just leave those offers on the table for now. And then if something comes up, we could deal with it later. Yeah, I think Jokin, he doesn't seem like he's going to get much more benefit out of staying in the OHL for another year because his development was kind of underwhelming this year. He only had a couple of boosts to defensive ratings and positioning and stick checking back in November or December. Nothing to offensive ratings, and then 1 boost to bravery in December as well. That's about it. So I think it'd probably be for the best if we brought over Jokin this upcoming offseason. Even if he doesn't play in the NHL, I at least want to, sign him. And here we are at the NHL Awards. For the Ted Lindsay, you have Leon Draisaitl with 43 goals, 54 assists for 97 points on the season. For the Art Ross, you have Josh Norris of Buffalo with 64 goals and 35 assists for 99 points. Then for the Maurice Richard, also Josh Norris. For the Lady Byng, you have Jake DeBrusk of Vancouver with 40 goals and 69 points total for, I believe, what is a career high for him. Yes, indeed. For the Bill Masterton, you have Morgan Riley now on Calgary. It looks like he was traded mid-season. As total, he had 67 games played between Toronto and Calgary this year and 28 points. The Mark Messier Leadership Award is Marat Kostadinov of the Rangers. And is he a captain? No, he is not. So 2 for 3 on that award now. This is as far as going to alternate captains or regular captains. He had 39 points this season in 82 games played for the Rangers. And for the Jennings, it is Daniil Tarasov of Columbus, who had a .909 save percentage and 1 shutout in 50 games played. And for the Hart between McDavid, McKinnon, and Draisaitl, it is Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers. For the Conn Smythe, it is Lucas Raymond of Detroit with 28 points in 21 games played. For the Calder between Matvei Gryden, Sean Farrell, and Noel Gunler, it is Noel Gunler of Chicago with 57 points in 83 games played. For the Norris between Owen Power, Owen Pickering, and Rasmus Dahlin, it is Owen Power of Buffalo with 45 points. For the Selke between Zakhar Bardakov, Maki Samoskevich, and Brett Howden, it is Zakhar Bardakov of your Colorado Avalanche. All right, so we won something this year. wasn't the Stanley Cup, wasn't what we wanted, but we did get something for Zakhar Bardakov. For the Vezina between Dustin Wolf, Jeremy Swayman, and Lucas Dostal, it is Lucas Dostal of Anaheim with a .917 save percentage and 4 shutouts in 57 games played. For the GM of the year between Bill Armstrong, Pat Verbeek, and Kevin Cheveldayoff, it is Pat Verbeek of Anaheim. And for the Jack Adams between Chris Lamorello, Jay Leach, and Jake Niche, it is Jay Leach of Anaheim. All right, it's June 23rd. Let's check prospect signing deadlines. You have Gagne, and that's it. So no deadlines expiring this year for prospects that are of particular interest. That said, I do want to sign, of course, Dima Jokin, who's a 2-star ability now, 4.5-star potential, and he's looking good. So we are going to bring him on this year. And as for Meyer, Carter Meyer, now 2-star ability, 3.5-star potential still, 17 puck handling, 16 passing. And he's got a lot of good stuff here. He's got a lot of good stuff. He has 79 grade last season in the NCAA, 45 points in 44 games played. And he's right there in terms of being NHL ready, but I might want to keep him in college for 1 more year just to have him dominate there, you know, because he was getting steady growth there too. Physical ratings went up quite a bit. Acceleration, agility, balance, strength. Mental ratings went up. Team player, determination, bravery. Offensive ratings went up. Getting open, positioning, puck handling rather, passing, shooting accuracy. And then defensive ratings went up as well. Checking, stick checking went up by 2. Defensive read went up. So yeah, I think leaving Meyer in college would be for the best, because it's not like Jokin like barely grew in the OHL, right? Meyer, however, was growing a lot. So I think it would be for the best if he stayed there to continue to develop. But Jokin for sure needed to come over, because he wasn't, as we saw before, he wasn't getting much out of being in the OHL. He just got a little bit of a boost of bravery and mental. No boost to offensive, no boost to physical, and a couple of boosts to defensive and positioning and stick checking. So yeah, I think it's safe to bring Jokin over, I think, but Meyer, I would like to leave him in college for at least 1 more season. And as for the players that you see here, they're all getting released. So that lets advance up to July 1st. Here's our 2027-28 season summary. We reached the playoffs and had a winning season. That is about it. Longevity bonus of 2, financial health bonus of 1, total season score 18, and career score so far of 57. And I'll, of course, get negotiating skill up to 18. And we have a bunch of staff contracts up this year. So Jared Bednar's contract is indeed up. What to do? And here's the thing. I love his preferences for the most part. Offensively based, balanced physical preference. He prefers prospects. The only thing I don't really like about him is conservative innovation. He cannot really adjust the team to new tactics quickly. And then passive line matching tendency, not really a fan of that either. Because his miscellaneous ratings and coaching ratings are great, honestly. Like, he's a great coach in terms of his ratings, but preferences, he's a little bit of a mixed bag. He's obviously, I like the offensive preference. The balanced physical preference is good. Prefers prospects is good considering where we're headed as a team, right? But the conservative innovation and passive line matching tendency, I'm not exactly a fan of. And it's quite possible that the passive line matching tendency is what has cost us the playoffs so far in these past 3 seasons, especially against teams like Dallas. You know, let me just see who's available right now to hire as a coach. Because if there's anybody out there right now that I would want to replace Bednar, then I might do that now. I mean, there's John Cooper. He's currently unemployed. Looks like Tampa fired him after year 1. He's got some great ratings all around. Offensive preference, balanced physical tendency, balanced line matching, conservative goalie handling. Not sure how to feel about that, but he's balanced everywhere else with the favorite of veterans and innovation as well. So he's certainly an option. Todd McClellan, passive line matching tendency. Like I said, don't really like that. I would prefer to find somebody who favors prospects, but for the most part, Cooper is a good option. Okay, Don Granato. He's offensive, balanced, prefers prospects, and innovative innovation. Got some good ratings. Not as good as Cooper's ratings for sure, but still he's got the favors prospects and his innovative innovation. I like that. Out of everybody I've seen so far, it's either Granato or Cooper, I think, are my top picks. Yeah, I think we're to release Bednar. And obviously, I don't think it entirely falls on him. Obviously, like the majority of the team's performance falls on the team, it's on the players themselves, right? But at the same time, I'm wondering if it genuinely is the passive line matching tendency that cost us those series. In addition to the, poor goaltending, obviously. But you could also argue that the poor goaltending is as a result of poor matchups, right? Poor line matchups. So while I don't think that Bednar has done anything necessarily wrong with this team, I think it's just time for a change behind the bench, because that's too many times. Though years 1, 2, and 3 were our best chances. They were genuinely our best chances to win the cup, I think. And we had a skilled enough roster to do it, especially year number 1 and 2. And we blew it all 3 times. So, yeah, I mean, again, I don't think it's all his fault, but I think it's just time to move on. Tarasenko announces his retirement. So, obviously, we didn't re-sign him, but he hangs up the skates. And our assistant coach, Mark Kaufman, also retires. So now we're on July 1st. Let's take a look at our roster, see what we need. We have Blackwood and Nabokov in net. On defense, you have 6. And at forward, you have, that looks like 12. Yep, that's exactly 12. So we have the bare minimum of what we need. Ideally, we should be getting a couple more forwards and 1 more defenseman. But that's probably not all we're going to be doing this offseason. I think some changes are in order. I'm not sure what yet, but it seems like there's going to be some changes. So I think with that, we'll end things off here. But not before I thank the channel members. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And I'll see you guys in the next one.